noteworthy. So let's start off by talking about one of those, and that is going to be Colts Jaguars. Joey, this was your game, so why don't you lead us off and take us to your biggest takeaways on this one?
Biggest takeaway for Colts Jaguars. Oh yeah, Daniel Jones. His Achilles was torn today. The Colts season looks to be terminated, and the Jags overall played some good football. I think it's funny how good their offense is and don't even utilize BTJ the way they did last year. Jacoby Myers appears to have stepped right into their wide receiver one duty, which is I thought was pretty intriguing to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean back to the Colts. I just think
Mhm.
um, I don't know what to think. I mean, I think it's pretty horrible what's going on, and I think this opens the door for Anthony Richardson to maybe you know build his stock back up because we know the Colts have a good team. So what can Anthony Richardson look like for this Colts team? Top five pick. He's only in year three. They have him under control for next year as well. So interesting timing overall for everything. Prayers to Daniel Jones. He had a great year. It all fell apart though. Unfortunately, I guess Scott, you might know more about this, but do you think this Achilles injury was just from him overcompensating with his right leg for because did he break his
I
fibula and his
so
left fibula?
it was
This
the
is his other leg thing.
Yeah, so this I wanted to talk about this because they were trotting him out there on that fractured fibula on the opposite leg, and that can only lead one to believe that he's favoring the other leg. And even though these non-contact Achilles injuries tend to happen, obviously in a somewhat random fashion, uh, at least I personally believe it makes sense to me that if you're favoring one over time, through the course of a season, doing these reps over and over, it's going to weaken that one a little bit more. He's already not feeling 100%. He's not, dialed in on just playing because he's guarding the other leg. So I feel like you could argue Indy kind of mismanaged this injury situation with him, and it's sad to see him go down in a way like this because this is a way he went down on the Giants, coming back from I think it was the concussion, and he had an ankle that year, and then he tears his ACL, and that was 2023 when the Giants just completely fell apart, and it just feels all too similar to that. In this game, it was it even when he was in there, it didn't feel that close. He had an interception. The final score is 36-19. The Colts are only a game behind at 8-5, but it really feels like this season is over, like you said. And yeah, a 9-month recovery from the Achilles would put him at around August, and maybe quarterbacks can come back a little bit faster, but this is just going to hamper him in next year. And I don't know, Dan, do you think the Colts are in trouble for next year?
As far as next year goes, I mean, to me, they could turn it around by drafting somebody because I'm not gonna let Daniel Jones
They
ruin
don't
my.
have a first round pick.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the thing. You were able to get Shador later on either, but it's like, yeah, I mean, so who knows? But as of right now, you have to bank on Richardson for now. Do what you got to do and just make it work. Really, I think Richardson now realizing that hey, they're gonna make it work as much as they can. To I just had a funny comment go to my head, but um,
What is it?
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
the comment was it's that you notice how I remember what was it the new CEO for the Colts, how she went and she was just like, oh yeah, this is it. We went into the field and she's like, we look at everything, we make sure we pay close attention to everything, and we know exactly what we need to do and what we need to get done. It's like we're back to the regular Colts. It was like nothing changed, and that's the sad part about it. Just because I feel like it's always the Jags that end the Colts season, and
Yeah,
again
it is.
here we saw it again. So that just made me chuckle because I was just like, damn, they really came in here just like we're the answer. It was the same answer. So,
Yeah.
um, and as far as next year goes, I think Richardson could turn it around if they show him that like, yo, they're willing to just not start him, even though he was a first round pick. And I think everybody was like, oh, you get like that guaranteed. We have to try you out for a couple years. It's like, no, they're not. They're not doing that there.
Yeah, I mean, it
To
feels
add
like he
on
hasn't played a full season.
to add on to what you're saying too, it's like weird how they're trying to carry him as like a backup quarterback, the main QB too, and he's on IR right now. he hasn't even been playing. So why is he on injury reserve?
Mm-hmm.
It just seems
Yeah,
it seems insane to me that he just can't be available to them as the backup. Actually, like take everything in as a backup and be ready to go because they could have used him today. But what is he doing? He's on injury reserve.
yeah, very very
That's just
odd.
frustrating. From the availability for him is just frustrating, and how like if he's even
I know
committed
you
to
were
this
big on
Colts
him,
team.
Joey. You were big on him
I
when he
I
still am.
was too.
I still am. I still am big on him. I still have all my Anthony Richardson stock. It is, on the side. It's on my taxi squad. I am barely carrying it on my team, but I am hopeful. I am hopeful. This, I guess, the way the season ends, and then next year. I mean, he probably bought himself a roster spot for next year because it's lining up for him to be the starter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he has a chance to really rewrite the script of his career going forward. I think they can
Mhm.
activate him off IR for this upcoming week. He'll be plugged back in, I imagine. I mean,
Especially when Tyler Warren is your quarterback two as of right now.
Yeah, with
shout out Riley Leonard though, Notre Dame
Riley
legend. He
Leonard.
played pretty.
He
He
was
played
okay.
pretty decent today. He
I
wasn't
will
bad.
say, just to get thrown against a Jacksonville defense like that, they were
Yeah.
mauling. They were going for blood today, and they were trying to make a
Yes.
statement. And he stuck. He stuck in there for a minute, and it sucks because like
That's
JT seemed like he fell off a little bit today. But I feel like now that everybody realizes that he's the thing that you need to stop just to put the pressure on the quarterback. Like it's just a different story. That's why Richardson right now, I feel like could be so good if he just like was consistent. But if you think about it too, right? Think about it, right? Like how our like mental maturity, he's younger than us
yes.
Yeah,
with
That
millions
also
of dollars.
yeah. To talk about the Jags though, like this is like another example of them. They're like they come into these games and you can see they play with an edge. I feel like the edge they played with was similar to what Detroit played with against Dallas. Like they came in, they knew what they had to do. They knew how important of a game this was. This was a playoff game. This is for their division we're talking about. Like they could be knocked out. You know what I mean? So I thought it was a credit to them for how well they played and then how well Liam Cohen has them ready to like prepare to play every day. I feel like they're rounding into being a pretty good team. I feel like what else do they need?
yeah. I'm intrigued in the future. I suppose I still want to continue to see it like moving forward and see what it looks like in the
I could see it on
playoffs
the
and
field today. See it on the field earlier the year,
yeah,
like this season. Like
the, yeah. They've been solid and
they play violently.
it looks like the AFC South too. We'll see as the night goes on and how the Texans look to see how that conversation evolves too. But I say we move on to the next
Speaking
game, and that game.
speaking of the Texans, we're in the red zone.
Go ahead. What's up? A little update.
Speak, Speaking of the Texans, they are in the red zone right now.
They're in
About
the
to
red
score.
zone. Okay.
Nice.
We can move on though.
All right. So moving on to the next game. This was Packers and Bears. Dan, this was your game as you were very invested